welcome back, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we get started, I have a question for you. Have you ever enjoyed brewing espresso on the run? Has brewing espresso on the go ever been something you enjoyed or found convenient as advertised? You see, for a few years now, companies have been releasing products to address the idea of portable espresso, to brew good espresso quickly while in a pinch and on the run. We've seen some companies like Flair create small and collapsible presses, and others release piston-powered espresso for camping or traveling. But these devices often lack complete portability, needing to assemble frames and preheat chambers, or in the case of the Nano or Mini Presso, the ability to create good textured espresso with adequate results, and parts that just felt plastic and cheap. But Wacaco, the manufacturer of the Nano and Mini Presso, have released a new device that they're hoping to resolve all this, the Picopresso. So today we're going to take a look at the Picopresso, and we're going to test if Wacaco succeeded and what they set out to accomplish. Now, some quick disclosure before we get started here. Wacaco did send me the Picopresso for free. Now, they didn't pay me for this video, and they don't get to see it before you do. In fact, they don't know I'm even making this video, and I will try to be unbiased in this video like any of my videos, but I think it's important for you to know the truth. So let's start by addressing about what this little device is. The Picopresso is a portable espresso maker that uses a manual piston to create pressure in its brewing chamber to force water through the coffee grounds. And they claim it creates barista level of espresso. Now, I'm not quite sure what barista level is measured by, but yeah, we're going to test that shortly. Now, the Picopresso's focus is different than its predecessors. It focuses on its basket size and its capacity and build quality, and its interpretation of the best shot of espresso possible on the go. Out of the box, the Picopresso comes just like this. Now, the final product model will actually come in a case as well. On the top of the lid, this is pretty familiar if you've used Wacaco products before, but if not, it is pretty compact and pretty well designed. Under the lid, you're going to find both a tamper and a dosing funnel for your espresso portafilter. I'll explain how that works in just a second. Now, inside the brewing chamber, you're going to find mostly plastics, and it's not super large, but it's plenty of space. You can fit about 90 milliliters here in my experience. Underneath the brewing chamber, you're going to find the famous Wacaco piston. Now, this is found on their Nano Presso and Mini Presso, and no real changes here from that I can see, but it's there. Now, under the piston is where you're going to find most of the changes in the Picopresso. That's because most of the portafilter is metal. Now, there's a cap that you can remove, and underneath this cap, you're going to find a rubber spout. Now, originally, I got a little disappointed seeing this, but upon inspection, once you take the portafilter out, again, this is all metal, you're going to find a metal shower screen. You're going to find a basket, which we're going to talk about in just a second. And then underneath this, the portafilter actually pops out that rubber, which leaves a bottomless portafilter. Now let's talk about these things for a second, because this is a big change to the Picopresso. You see, it uses a 52 millimeter coffee basket, and it holds 18 grams of coffee, and that is a game changer. You see, previous models could hold 6 to 10 grams of coffee, if lucky, and that often left a lot to be desired. Including espresso, the shots are often like 15 to 25 grams in the cup. So I think this is the best decision that Wacaco could have made, because an 18 gram basket enables this portable brewer to yield much larger shots, which is always desired, especially when this takes a little bit more preparation to brew coffee. So let's talk about that. Now, I think brewing espresso is pretty straightforward and simple. You grind your fresh coffee to an espresso size grind, distribute with an included WDT tool and dosing funnel, tamp with the included metal tamper, lock the portafilter and basket into place, fill the chamber with boiling water, and then you pump the piston. And the result is espresso. I mean, it's undoubtedly espresso, and not some espresso-like coffee as some other claimed portable espresso brewers often create, lacking crema and texture of what truly makes espresso. And while this isn't going to be replacing my dual boiler anytime soon, it's definitely not bad. The espresso has a lot of sweetness and decent mouthfeel, and I'd say it compares to the Flair with slightly less texture. And no, don't get me wrong, the Flair can make better espresso, but the Picopresso surprised me in the coffee that it can create. It's not perfect, but for $130, it's not bad. Wacaco is pretty public on what they set out to create in the Picopresso. They wanted something with a slightly better build quality than other units in their lineup, and something that could brew good espresso. It does use a mixture of metal and plastic parts, but even plastic pieces feel durable. The chassis is covered in a grippy rubber, and even its plastic parts feel kind of premium too. Like, I don't think this is going to be breaking anytime soon. Now, don't get me wrong, I would have personally loved to see more metal parts, and especially the water chamber and maybe this piston too. but I guess again, at $130, it's kind of hard to complain. The portafilter area is most impressive with all metal parts and branded dosing funnel to match. Even the tamper feels decent to use for its size. While definitely not the best tamper I've ever used, it does the job pretty well. And to repeat myself here, I would have loved to seen one of its most used parts, its piston, made of more metals. It's made of a good quality plastic, but it would have really impressed me if they went above and beyond and made this a metal piece. I actually appreciate what Wacaco is trying to do here. I believe they're making an espresso brewer for espresso lovers that they wouldn't be ashamed to travel with. Now, before you light me up about how this isn't true espresso for reasons X, Y, and Z, consider this. Things like its included WDT tool, metal tamper, and bottomless non-pressurized basket speak to the fact that this is a brewer for somebody who wants to make great espresso on the go. But not just make great espresso, nitpick the details of distribution and even extraction. That just simply wasn't the case on the Nano or Mini Presso, especially with the use of pods. And I believe the price on the Pico, $130 USD and currently $99 for pre-order in the link down below, is not only fairly priced, but it's priced correctly. This isn't the best espresso since sliced bread, but it's also not the worst. And so traveling with the Pico isn't something I'll dread, it's just something that I'll do. Now in comparison, the closest competitor in this price would be a Flare Neo at $120, but then you've got a pressurized portafilter that limits the espresso that you can create. And now while you can upgrade and swap parts from other Flare units, the price goes up with that as well. And it's not as portable as the Pico. I think where they've gone wrong with this brewer is that they claim that this is something that will rival your nearest cafe. And it just isn't. I really love the espresso that the Picopresso makes, and it's a great little unit, but I think they need to call it what it truly is, a true portable espresso brewer. This isn't going to be something that replaces your espresso machine. Now that doesn't mean if you're on a tight budget that this isn't a good viable option. I think with a good coffee grinder and a bit of fiddling and understanding its limitations, you can make great espresso consistently. Now one more thing I would have loved to see on the Pico would have been a 58mm portafilter basket. Now while I might be asking a lot here, I think had I seen a 58mm basket to accommodate my espresso machine accessories, this brewer would be in a category of its own. But maybe I'm alone in this. But if you would like to see a 58mm portafilter espresso brewer, let me know by hitting that like button. Maybe if enough of you like this video, Wacaco will listen. Worth the shot. Now, understanding that this is a $130 brewer and knowing its limitations, it exceeded my expectations on what this portable espresso brewer could do. And that's honestly why I wanted to review this today. Because other Wacaco products have never really caught my eye as something desired and honestly even needed. Especially to me, somebody who is an espresso enthusiast. And maybe you felt similar. If you have, let me know in the comments down below. Now, if you're somebody who travels often, wants coffee for the cottage, camping, or even the workplace, or you want to dabble in espresso at a lower price point, the Picopresso is a great option. It is important to understand that you will need a decent coffee grinder, and I'll leave some link down below including electric and hand options, but without a good grinder, you will not have a good experience with this brewer. Before you buy the Pico, make sure you have a grinder covered. Do not try to get pre-ground coffee. This simply won't do it. Now, before you go, I would really love to know your thoughts. Is this something that interests you? What do you wish Wacaco included with this? Do you think this is priced correctly? 58mm, am I the only one in this? And last but not least, I'm going to be giving away this Picopresso to one of my patrons in a few weeks. You see, my patrons allow me to do what I love, and I'm so grateful for each one of them. You see, becoming a patron allows you to access my Discord and other benefits, which is super fun, and in exchange, I give back many products I review. For the cost of less than one coffee a month, you can have access to become a patron, support this channel, support my family, have access to the Discord, and win review gear I give away as well. I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in learning all about that. Now, for those who have gotten this far, you're the best. Let me know by writing "Espresso is life" down in the comments below. I appreciate your time, and I hope you're so well today. We'll see you next time. Bye.